Mr. Teddy Soobramanien, Chief Executive Officer of COMESA Business Council, with over 25 years of international experience in trade negotiations, policy implementation, business development, and organizational management. Mr. Teddy brings a unique set of skills, of perspectives, and leadership qualities to steer CBC into the future. Mr. Teddy has held several leading positions in the World Trade Organization, the United Nations, the International Trade Center, the Commonwealth, the UK government, the African, Caribbean, and Pacific states, European Union, Trade-Com facility in private sector, and the Mauritius mission to the UN in Geneva. He has steered to success many of the programs he has been responsible for, including the Aid for Trade Hub and Spokes program. Mr. Teddy is widely published on issues relating to small economies, the ACP, developing countries, on international trade issues that are interests to Africa. He has also implemented several private sector development projects for the Trade-Com facility. He holds a master's degree in law from Robert Gordon University, United Kingdom, as well as a BSc honors degree in economics from the University of Mauritius, a diploma in trade policy from the WTO, and is currently pursuing a doctorate in international trade law at the University of Reading, UK. I'll also just open for Mr. Teddy Soobramanien, if you'd like to come in with an opening comment.
Thank you, Melissa. I won't repeat what you said. I think you introduced me wonderfully well, so I won't repeat that. But suffice for me to also join my fellow panelists in thanking the organizers for this very laudable initiative for Africa. It's very much appreciated. I also want to take this opportunity to reiterate to my colleague John, looking forward to working closely with you. So I'll leave it at that for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Teddy, much appreciated. Mr. Teddy, if I can hand over to you, as you lead COMESA Business Council, given your regional and international experience, please would you kindly share with us as to which are the key factors that businesses must have in place to access the common market?
Thank you, Melissa. That's a very relevant question, I think, for the theme of this conference. Some of the points that I had in mind actually has been ably taken up by John Bosco already. So I might be repeating a bit what he has said, but probably re-emphasize it a bit from what CBC we are doing. First of all, I think, Melissa, it is very important that we understand how trading activities actually take place, and also how we translate what is in trade and other economic agreements into tangible economic benefits for the businesses in our region. As John has ably put forward, I think they create the environment, but then it is for our businesses to take advantage of the trading agreements. So that's I think, in terms of background setting that we have to be fully aware of. Now, first and foremost, what are the factors? I think our supply response capacity is important. Are we producing what we need to trade? Do we have the capacity to produce and take advantage of the opportunities created by the common market? In the previous session, I saw the two ladies presented some of the products they are producing and so on. So these are examples. So yes, we are producing in Africa. We are producing products that we can export. So yes, we are there. But then the other key question is, can we move these products across borders at a minimum cost? And here comes, I think John touched a bit on that, the whole issue of trade facilitation. What about the cost of transportation? What about border controls? What about our road network and infrastructure? Many of our African countries are landlocked, for example. They need to move products across countries, Zambia being one example. So the advantage being created by common market or a customs union can easily be eroded by exorbitant trading costs by these other barriers. So I think that's important to understand. And I think we are working in that direction, trying to bring down these costs. Some other elements, some other factors which are important is trade finance. we cannot underestimate this aspect, is the access to trade finance, especially for SMEs and MSMEs. Do they have access to trade finance to be able to trade across borders? They may find it difficult to export if they cannot have access to this financing mechanism, for example, or simply ensure that payment is effected in the most efficient and secure way. So do we have this financial mechanism in place? Is another important factor. Product differentiation, how to create that brand name which consumers can trust and continue buying products from the region. And of course, have the global context been taken into account as well. So this is another important factor. The distribution channels, are these in place? And one aspect which to my mind is very important, as you mentioned in the introduction, I worked for the Commonwealth for some time, and we did some work also on what can create a Commonwealth advantage. Why do, for example, Commonwealth countries trade among themselves? We came up to the conclusion that there might be a Commonwealth advantage. For example, if we have a good trade governance, do we have the same legal system? For example, in case of dispute in trade in our trading activities, do we have that legal system so that we can resolve that? So the trade governance, and I think John touched on that a bit when he talked about trading environment. I think I use a different connotation, which I call the trade governance. Do we have this in place so that our traders, our businesses can do business in a very secure and predictable way? The other aspect, Melissa and colleagues, which I think is important, and I'm going a little bit more forward-looking here, and I think as Africa, we should not always be followers. We can set the pace sometimes in certain areas. And here I'm going probably to be quite bold in my assertion. I believe in new technologies. I believe in e-commerce. I believe in digital economy as drivers of economic development and business development. So embracing new technologies in the region to facilitate trade, I think, is a key factor as well. So we should not remain behind, because people are using mobile phone, they are using new technologies. We are very well connected. I was very surprised when I came to Lusaka very recently. The connection here is absolutely marvelous. It's comparable to Europe. It may be surprising some people. Yes, it is. So we can do business, we can embrace new technologies. And I think that's an important factor we should neglect. And of course, competition policies and others are very important. But Melissa, as I said, some of these points were picked up by John as well. So I won't repeat some of the points he so ably put forward. So I'll leave it at that for now. But these are some of my thoughts.
Thank you so much, Mr. Teddy. One of the other factors that we've come across with some of our entrepreneurs, and I'd like to raise it here just for food for thought, is your standard bureau. So you find that many entrepreneurs are struggling a little with regards to the standardization of various products. And we found there was an incredible lady who had an amazing product that could really contribute so much to the well-being of the youth, especially female youth. And unfortunately, it was recognized here in South Africa with, all of our various departments. It was clinically tested, etc. And she just can't seem to ship it across borders because of those standards. So that is something else, something further we need to think on in terms of those key factors. Thank you so much, Mr. Teddy.
Once again, very relevant question to the conference. And CBC, we are active on several fronts. So time will not allow me to list all the activities in which we are involved in. But let me maybe pick 2 or 3 of the activities in which we are helping our businesses move to the region, move their products across the region. As I mentioned in my previous answer, I think one key aspect is this whole issue of finance, payments. So CBC is implementing the COMESA Digital Financial Inclusion for SMEs program. The goal of this program is to support an integrated digital financial services infrastructure that is low cost, interoperable, and fraud resistant, that serves MSMEs, enterprises, and their customers. At the moment, we have this program running for 8 pilot countries. We have Egypt, Ethiopia, Zambia, Rwanda, Kenya, Uganda, Malawi, and Mauritius. So these are the 8 pilot projects in this phase that we are undertaking this digital financial inclusion project. So that's one example. Yeah, the other example, if you allow me to mention, is the strengthening of the local sourcing. This involves key training programs and factory flow intervention, which is being carried out to strengthen local sourcing business compliance. And here we're covering 10 countries: Kenya, Rwanda, Uganda, Zambia, Malawi, Ethiopia, Madagascar, Tanzania, South Africa, and Zimbabwe. So about 800 SMEs have been trained on health standards requirement. This ties in nicely to your comment from the earlier session about standards and so on. Yeah? So we are involved in that area as well. Another factor probably, which I didn't, important factor that probably I didn't lay too much emphasis in my first answer, my first response to your first question, was about trade information. And here also we are addressing that. CBC is addressing market information gaps. So CBC offers tailor-made training to MSMEs and also provide market information and opportunities within the region through buyer missions, trade fairs, buyer select conferences. We have also been undertaking quite a number of capacity building activities. Just to give you some figures, about 200 SMEs have been trained on how to evaluate and export their products to the region. 200 SMEs in the COMESA region. So Melissa, this is a bit of a snapshot picture about what CBC we are doing here for our members and the business community in the region. But I'm more than happy, to talk a bit more. If people try to reach out to CBC, we'll be more than happy to share some of the numerous activities we're undertaking for the business community in the region.
Thank you so much, Mr. Teddy. That's incredible. They are most proactive. It's wonderful to hear. It's important to know that you are running those pilot studies. It's important to know that there is training on offering. And I would like to put forward perhaps to Ms. Anne, if we can maybe look at centralizing all that information as well, so that further people can really interact and get involved in that. Thank you so much, Mr. Teddy. That's wonderful.
I think it's no secret that competition, is ruthless on the global market. And I think our businesses know that very well. So there are many competitors from other continents. I believe, and I've always believed, and I work on regional integration in Africa for a very long time, I've always believed that the regional market is a good strategy, as it helps our businesses put in place systems and processes which allow them to trade regionally before going global. I think the regional market is a good testing, is a good training ground before we go to that global market.
Absolutely.
Yeah, combating, I think, for example, combating illicit trade helps our businesses to put in place a framework, an operating model which will help them meet the exigencies of the global market. Intellectual property rights, for example, regulatory requirements. Melissa, you mentioned earlier about standards, SPS and TBT, technical barriers to trade. And these are based on international standards. So we have done, for example, CBC, we have done quite a lot of work on illicit trade. So allow me here also to maybe just a parenthesis, just to thank some of our partners, without whom we wouldn't have been able to do the work. And so I have in mind here, of course, our members, the COMESA Secretariat, the EU, BDI from Germany, the Federation of German Industries, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, ATC, again helping CBC also, CIPE, and other partners who are supporting us in this endeavor. So on that note, Melissa, back to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Teddy.